They said I couldn't do it, but I can. Yes, I can. New requests are coming in to be my friend. Friend. Build a brand.
Hey everyone, it's Cameron Moore from Builder Brand, and this is Builder Brand Interviews. And today we have a very special guest, someone that was very influential in my life when I first started in the car business, and he's just a rock star. So today we have Steve Garner on with us, and Steve is going to share what he does to really differentiate himself from everyone else. So Steve, go ahead and introduce yourself to everyone.
Hello, everyone. This is Steve Garner from Patterson Auto Center in Wichita Falls, Texas. Beautiful, beautiful, big blue sky, North Texas.
Yeah, I've missed Texas so much, man. So as you say that, it's like my wife always she always says she misses the sunsets there. It's a lot different here in the Memphis area. So Steve, tell us how you got in the car business.
I got in the car business after I closed a business that I was in that I'd had for several years and wasn't sure what I wanted to do. And a good friend of mine from Rotary had been trying to get me to come to work in the car business. And I said, I just really don't want to do that. I think I'd rather do something else. And then things after I'd spent about 3 months closing the books and everything out on that business, I really did need to get to work. And so I called him up and said, hey, does that offer still stand? Can I come to work in the car business? He said, man, it's funny you should ask. We got a 2-week training deal that starts today. So I went in, and that was 32 years ago, Cameron.
32 years ago. So
yeah.
I'm 30, Steve. So so that's very impressive. Now for a lot of people listening, if you're listening on Amazon, thank you so much for joining. If you're on YouTube, I appreciate you guys watching this. Steve and I were at the exact same store. Steve is just a huge influencer in our hometown, which is, Wichita Falls, Texas. We all know Texas, the greatest country in the world. But Steve was very influential in the things that I did. And I always tell people, Steve, when I'm talking, regardless if I'm on stage or if I'm at a dealership, that when I first applied to Patterson's, I didn't get the job. And so basically I was told that there was more qualified applicants than me. And of course, when you look at people like you, Steve, like in Elizabeth Spear, you have amazing people at the store, and then it's like, okay, we're going to compare this guy has no car experience, and then these guys want to join that at least have sold cars before. So yeah, of course they're more qualified. But I want to know, when you first got in, obviously, we talk about prospecting, really talking about, getting referrals and following up. When you first got in, I want to kind of know what you were doing for prospecting and right now currently, because, you're all over social media, which I love. You were on social media when I was there, but what do you do to really prospect to get your name out there?
Cameron, one of the things that I've done for a long time is prospecting on a consistent basis. I've been off of the sales floor now for 11 years. I don't catch fresh ups unless there's just nobody available to help them. And of course I will at that point. But my business is repeat referral and prospecting. And I come and go as I please because that's what I choose to do. And the only way I can do that is by continually adding to my customer base, because as you well know, we all lose customers from our customer base. They die, they move off, or they just get mad at you. And so one of the things that I do is something that's going to put someone in front of me. And the first part of my career, it was junk mail. I lived off of junk mail and knew that if I sent out 100 pieces, 3 of those pieces were going to hit someone that was looking for a new or used car. That's, drastically changed. And we've gone away from, the impact of television advertising and the impact of radio advertising in favor of
the newspaper.
Yeah, the newspaper. The newspaper is just I still take a newspaper because I'm old school, but I take it for personal reasons. I don't take it for the news. I get my news digitally like everybody else. And in 2016, when I started in social media, Cameron, I was a complete novice. I don't live on my device. I don't watch videos. That's just not something I do personally. But what I was encouraged to do was get a presence. And I'll be forever grateful to Fran Taylor for the prospecting discipline I have, and to Jonathan Dawson for the ability to make a presence in social media. And so I've stumbled through that for at least a year, trying to get my bearings, and I would make videos that were just, make me cringe today, but they were me. I mean, they were just me being me. And I think that's one of the things that your customers and clients, potential clients, that's what they want to see. They want to see somebody that's real.
I'm so glad you said that. Keep going.
Yeah.
I'll hit on that later.
Yeah. I mean, it's just, don't wait. I hope the people that are watching and listening, don't wait until you feel like you're polished enough, or you've got the terminology down, or you're comfortable enough in front of your iPhone or your Android device, whatever you use. Just start today. Go out and make a 20-second, 30-second, 45-second video of a particular vehicle that you've got closeout priced, or maybe you had a hail damage sale, or maybe you've got a demo that needs to go, or you've got an aged unit that needs to go. I mean, that's what people are looking for. They're looking for something that's a great buy. Well, you have them. So just go out there and make a video, open the car up, walk around it, talk about it, show it to people, send it to people individually. And one of the things that I just absolutely love to do now is, reach out to people. One of the things I wanted to talk about today, Cameron, is the pandemic that we're all going through, and what a boom. That's right, a boom it's been for me. But before I get into that, for those of you that are watching this, over my shoulder on the wall, Cameron, I want you to look at that. I want you to see what that is. Can you see that belt on the wall?
Yeah, it looks like a WWE belt.
Okay, what I want your viewers to know is, one of the things that I'm really proud of is my ability to do a good walk around. And we have a walk around.
Oh, yes. I got Steve 1 year on this one.
Listen, I wanted to share this with your viewers and listeners. That is a competition within our dealership. We have 3 locations here in town, and so everybody gets involved. Whether I'm in the Buick GMC Cadillac building, Cameron at that time was in the Mercedes BMW Highline used building, and we have a used location, we have a Honda location, we have a Dodge Chrysler Jeep Kia location, and all of the salesmen. We had over 40 salesmen involved in the competition, and I had won it several times, and was confident that I was going to win it that year as well. And I was shocked to be second place to Cameron, the new guy. Cameron had been here less than a year. Less than a year. And Cameron proved so many people wrong. He was such an incredible talent, and I miss his impact here at the dealership on a regular basis. And I'm so proud of what he's been able to do, and excited for him and his family. But I positioned this so that you could see it, Cameron, and I just wanted I wanted your viewers to know, who you are. I mean, you came into this business not knowing anything at all about it, and had just embraced it and done a great job with it.
I really appreciate that, Steve. And that's actually one of my favorite memories is when they told us they were going to do a walk-around contest. And, of course, I'm new. And I tell people all the time, when I first started, Anthony Lavelle, we were sitting in training. And most people don't even have training. We actually had training. And he was like, all right, guys, we're going to do prospecting. I want you to get your, notebooks out and write 100 names and numbers, right? And so it's a great way to get everyone in the community in the CRM so you can spam all the emails. Totally get it. But he's like, you got to prospect. And I was like, I tell people all the time, I have a bachelor's of science in criminal justice. Steve, I don't know anything about prospecting. Okay, so I don't get it. But when this walk-around contest came around, I loved learning about vehicles. So all I had to do was just I have to just do a presentation. And I was so scared because I look up to you a lot, Steve, and you're the guy that helped influence me to do videos. I remember my first video was right there in the Hyundai building. It was a Hyundai Elantra. And I
Yeah.
started the video off with, man, do I got the deal for you. And I was like, oh, God, that's so disgusting. I can't believe I just said that. And I was so embarrassed of it. But I use it for game film. And, the comment you made that is don't wait till the time that it's just right or you're well polished. And if you mess up, use it.
Yeah.
That's something I tell people all the time because I even have videos on Builder Brand's channel, videos that I send to dealer principals and very important people that I stutter. But the reality is I'm going to stutter in person and I'm not perfect. And so if you can't accept that at face value, that it's not a $1 billion, I guess, production video, well, hey, this is me. This is real life. And
Yeah.
what you find is, like what you said, the consumer actually appreciates that. They enjoy it
Mhm.
because it's real. Because
Yeah.
all they see is stuff on the, TVs where it's like $10,000 off, and it's like, whoa. But no, I really appreciate those compliments. And man, this is about you, Steve. This episode is about you. But thank you so much for those awesome compliments. Now let's
Yeah.
get into. Oh, go ahead.
I did want to say that, and I'm going to get right into the different prospecting that I do now because I enjoy it, and I feel like it's so much more effective than the junk mail that I did for decades. And it's now I don't spend a dime. I don't spend much. I still spend money on some things, but for advertising, on television, the newspaper, the radio, I don't do that. I'll do radio on occasion for a limited time for a special sale. But my prospecting, Cameron, is now. I think most of your viewers and those watching, you do prospecting of some kind, whether it's birthday cards or holiday cards. I want to encourage them to do the same thing digitally. I started 3 years ago on my the birthdays of my customers. I still send them a birthday card, but what I did, I started scheduling 6 months down the road from that date. I started scheduling a contact. My birthday card is just that. It's a birthday card with no message to sell anything. It's just wishing them a happy birthday. The Christmas cards that I send out or the Thanksgiving cards that I send out are exactly the same way. There's no ask for anything to sell at all. It's just a
It's purely
personal
just for building the relationship, right?
That's exactly what it is. But this other message that's 6 months out from their birthday is a sales message. And what I do is I'll send a 25 to 40-second video to that person asking them to buy something. We'll have a truck on sale, or we'll have a car on sale, or we'll have a used car sale going on. But it's a specific message to that person. If it was your birthday 6 months ago, Cameron, this message would be to you today to say, hey, Cameron, we've got 3 of the 2020 Buick Encores left. We've got a preferred package and we've got one limited package, and that limited package we've got might be something that's just perfect for you and your wife. You had mentioned that an SUV was going to be in the cards. Well, we've got one today, and just come see me. And my phone number, and it's specific. It's to you, and I'll do those every Monday for that week's worth of birthdays or 6 months anniversary of the birthdays. And so I can get those all knocked out in just no time.
Yeah, and that's a lot of people that I watch right now probably do videos because that's kind of more my target market. But there are going to be some people that watch this that do not do videos at all. I'll tell you right now, guys. When I was there working, and I watched Steve do videos, if you're like, well, I don't have the right cell phone, Steve had an iPhone 6. All right. Okay, so
I finally replaced that last year.
I can
buddy.
tell by your screen right now. And so Steve had an old phone, and he had the outer box that was just beat up, And so Steve is doing these videos on an iPhone 6. So if you're saying that you need this perfect phone, just, hey, get that out of your mindset, because you
Yeah.
can do it with the iPhone 6. Steve has proven it. And the fact that he knocks out those videos on a Monday, he's basically being proactive, preparing, just like when I make my content. I'm making it sometimes weeks or months ahead, because I
Yeah.
want to make sure that it's done. And it's all about being proactive. And that's one thing I can definitely say Steve really does well, is he's proactive, and not just the prospecting, but the following up with his customers and really building that relationship. And Steve, you definitely taught me, you along with the Jonathan Dawson, that it's all about the relationship building. And that's
Yeah.
one thing I hope you get into today, Steve, is the fact that you're very involved in the community, and that's something that's very critical. Oh, do you need
You
to go,
know,
bud?
no.
Okay.
That's one of the guys came in. One of the things that I want to get across to your viewers is, just like you said, Cameron, is how important it is to get involved. In 2016, when I started doing this, one of the things that I started to do was, we all have friends in business around town, whether they work at an electronics rental store, or they work at a restaurant, or they work in an office space. It doesn't matter where they work. They have impact wherever that might be. And so I started doing videos with my friends at their locations. I'd go out to a furniture store, or I'd go out to a boot store, or I'd go out to a restaurant that one of my friends was a partner in, wherever it might be, and just do a video with them on camera at that place of business. And then I would post that and encourage people to go see them. I wasn't asking them to come see me. I was asking them to go see that person. In the video, I got my name tag on. I tell them who I am and where I am, so they know that it's me. But I'm highlighting someone else's business, not mine. So that does two things. One, it reinforces the relationship, like you said, with that person I'm with, and it puts me in a good light to the people out there that are looking at my social media feeds. They're saying, oh, Steve's out at McBride Steakhouse, or, oh, Steve's over at
Oh,
Hamilton
sounds
Bryan.
so good right now.
I know.
So
I tell
jealous.
you, man. And for those of you that don't know who McBride Steakhouse is, it's one of the best places in Wichita Falls to go get a steak, or a chicken fry, or a salad,
Just
or
anything.
catfish, or
Just
enchiladas,
everything.
whatever. But
Water. It's the best place for
yeah,
water.
but what it does is it reinforces the relationship between me and that person, and it also puts that person's business out in the public's eye as well. And so it just enhances both of our presences digitally.
Right. And I'm going to just re-say what you just said, because it's very powerful, Steve. And it's something that I've shared with you guys, everyone listening right now. If you've been following and watching these Builder Brand interviews, I've talked about a time when I did Wichita Business Wednesday. Okay. So that was where I basically was copying Steve, because Steve did this. He even said in our meeting, he's like, this is stuff you got to do. Like, Steve would sometimes do some training stuff for us. I was like, that's a good idea. So I went to my father-in-law, Kelly Fristo. He's at Financial Partners, and I was like, I'm going to do this. And what Steve, just said at the beginning, where you introduce yourself. Every video you should do, you should start introducing yourself. At first, it's going to sound weird. Now, I mean, I feel like I could just be a YouTube, streamer. It's like, hey guys, welcome. Go ahead and hit that like, comment below, hit the subscribe. Like, it'll come to you.
Yeah.
But he introduces himself, which is very important, because when you look at video SEO for Google, it's not just taking into account what you write, it takes into account what you say. And so the fact that you're like, hey, it's Steve Garner here at Patterson family of dealerships. Well, when people start typing that in, Steve Garner's going to start, his video is going to be up there. It's going to be a lot better. And then also he builds that that relationship and the psychological I guess attachment to the consumer with that the person they know. It's like, hey, Steve, that person trusts Steve. I now trust Steve. So now they're extending that trust to Steve. And this is where Steve's building high valued customers, the people that know, like, and trust him. And I just think it's super awesome. So go ahead, Steve. I just wanted to really butt in and say that.
Thanks. And there's plenty of other opportunities like that. I mean, for another one that I really like to do in October is Small Business Saturday. American Express started this, I don't know, 12, 15 years ago. But it's the same thing. On Friday, I'll go out, I'll pick 5 or 6 businesses here in town to feature that are going to be open Saturday. And I'll go out and do the same thing. I'll do a minute to a minute and a half. I think one of them actually lasted almost 2 minutes, but it's a video with me and that business principal, whether he's an owner or a partner or the managing working manager, whatever it might be. Last year I did a coffee shop. I did a furniture store. I did a cake bakery, excuse me. And it's just an opportunity for me to get out with somebody I know who is in a business that benefits from others coming to see. And so I'll go out and do
networking.
Yeah, it's exactly what it is. And I'll go out that Friday. I'll spend a couple hours. I think last time it took me 3 hours, but who cares? I was out in front of somebody, putting a video. And when I post those videos, most of the time in a small market like this, it's going to be between 300 and 1,100 views that day. And I like the feedback that I get. And it's another way, Cameron. People are going to see my face. They're going to see my name. Every time I post something, it's got my name, it's got my phone number, and it's got my hashtag, which is hashtag You Can Believe Steve. Yeah, You Can Believe Steve, and it's on everything I post. And it's another way to put my name out in front of people. I want to get across how strongly I feel about my position in the lives of my customers. I am not the guy that's going to be invited over for Thanksgiving dinner. I'm not going to be invited to the graduation of their daughters at high school. I'm going to be the guy that they think of when they need a car. That's all I want. I want them to think of me and give me that opportunity. When something goes wrong with that vehicle, I want them to call me. I don't want them to call the service department or the parts department or the body shop. I want them to call me. I want them to let me be the liaison between them and whoever's going to fix it. I can't fix it.
Steve, I do want to butt in because I want everyone listening right now, because some people think, oh, well, customers, they won't tell people who they're working with, and they don't have their car guy, car girl. If you're listening and you're saying that right now, here, I want you to stop. I want you to open your ears, like they used to say in the Marine Corps, open your ears, because Steve's customers are very, very loyal. I'll tell you this because we always had to qualify. And one thing that Steve and I know is there's a lot of people at that dealership that didn't qualify. They would basically just, they would skate you. Well, I would always qualify, and guess what happens? Everyone that's trying to buy a BMW Mercedes, well, they're Steve Garner's customer, pretty much. Like, and they're like going from a GMC Denali, now they want a Mercedes GLS. And so, again, I'd call Steve, got one of your customers over here, man. And then Steve, we worked well together. We had several clients that we worked together with. But that's one thing that I can say that was very impressive, especially when I tell people all the time, like when I first started, it was so hard because I was competing against people like you, Steve. Like I'm competing against you, and you've been doing business there forever. And it's like, I have to sell to the 1% of the 1% of a BMW Mercedes that all the people buy Denali's. And I'm like, oh God, like I'm set up for failure. But it's very impressive to see how loyal customers are, because you've indoctrinated them that that you are their car guy. It's just like they have the doctor, the lawyer. Like Steve is their car guy, and if anyone approaches them, they're like, back up. Whoa, Steve's my guy. So I think that's very awesome.
And it's a relationship that has to be cultivated. And you have to stay in front of that person on a regular basis. And the way everybody does that is different. The way I do it now is digitally. I still send out birthday cards. I still send out Thanksgiving cards. I still send out an anniversary card. When something happens newsworthy for one of my friends, I'll send them a personal, and I mean personal note. I still handwrite everything I send out. I don't generate. I mean, we've got a wonderful contact management system, and I use it as a secretary. I use it as a lifeblood between me and what I need to do every single day.
But if I'm used to, oh, my bad, go ahead.
I was going to say, but when I send something out to a customer, to a friend of mine, it's handwritten. It's hand addressed. on the outside of the envelope, so that when they get it, it's not something they look at and just pitch in the trash.
And that's, my office was right next to the BMW receptionist. And so every day, like when people have letters that they want to send out, they have to walk up to the receptionist and throw them in the bucket every day. Steve's coming in, more letters, right? And then so that got me. I was like, man, one day I just went to Google, and I went to all the country club areas like Oklahoma City, Dallas, Fort Worth, and every day I made it a point to send at least 50 letters where I was like the best kept secret in Wichita Falls, which was me, right? And that's what I just kept saying. But I send it out. I just went to Google and would write down the addresses and send them. And I put to my clients, right? That was the title for every single one.
Mhm.
Now, the one thing I think we actually went over a lot of prospecting and follow up, but the one thing that I think is very critical here is asking for referrals, and you do an amazing job about it. And you also, I just saw my old cheer coach, Noah Matthews, the one guy that literally, the reason why I liked working with Noah, just real fast, just a side note, if you're listening, is because when you play any sports, you want someone to be able to, everyone tells you what to do. I need you to show me. I'm a visual person. Noah was the only cheer coach I ever had. If he was like, hey, go do a round off back handspring double full, I'd be like, wait, what? And I'd be like, hold on. And he would do it. And I was like, oh my God, you're amazing. And then one day I talked back to him, and he took my money that I was paying him and threw it at me and told me to get out of his gym. And I was like, I like this guy. I like him. You know why? Because he made me a better person. He made me appreciate things and have structure. But no, so what I'm getting at is Steve just did a client testimonial video. These are things that I've talked about over and over. Mine were hashtag dashcam diaries, client testimonials in the heat of the moment after they purchase. And a lot of that came from watching what Steve was doing, watching what Bill Hav was doing. And, Steve, I want you to talk about that, because that is where I know for a fact you and I did receive so many referrals from those videos.
Um, to me, and again, I'm going to show your viewers and your listeners how averse I am to what you and I are doing right now. I'm a very private guy, but I am absolutely amazed at the impact of video on digital platforms. I do those client testimonials. I do several of them every week. I try to change them up. I'll do them in the back of an SUV, or sit on the tailgate of a pickup, or I'll try to change them up. But what they do for me, Cameron, is when I tag the person that bought and the people that are in that person's family, those people sometimes share that video. But more importantly, the people that are in their view, that are in their circles of influence and their connections, see my video of me. But more importantly, they see Noah's trust in me on the vehicle he just spent money on.
Which, by the way, Steve, for you to do a video with Noah, and I love Noah. Noah's amazing. You know how many people respect that kid? How many kids Noah has taught in that area? How many parents? I mean, that was just gold. And I'm so jealous, because I'm like, man, if I was still selling, no better buy a car from me.
Well, let me tell you what I get from videos like that, and this specifically Noah's. I haven't looked in the last several days, but the views on that one were over 700 the last time I looked. But the people that view that and interact with that, you can look on the Facebook and see who they are. I always pick up new connections through that. The people that I know or see it, but at the bottom of that list are the people that I don't know, that are contacts of the person that I made in the video. And so I'll just reach down and ask to be friends with them. And they all, I don't know all, but the majority of them agree and are now new connections of mine. When I get the acceptance message from that person, I send them a personal thank you and let them know I appreciate them accepting me as a friend. And if there's ever anything that I can do for them in transportation, to please let me know. I don't try to sell them a specific vehicle. I just thank them for the connection and let them know that I'm here if they need me, and leave it alone. But that's another way to prospect. And it's a soft sell way to prospect, which is how I like to sell.
Yeah, prospect, and you're getting referrals, because like that's the biggest thing. Like you said, repeat referrals. That's what Steve works on. When you're doing this video, it's so much easier to get the referrals, because like my favorite video that I've ever done, Mama Morgan, right? She's from Iowa Park, and man, Mama Morgan's loud. We got in trouble for being too loud on Mercedes floor when doing a video, but that right there, she literally extended all of that trust to all of her friends and family for me. Like, she's like, go
Yeah.
see Cameron. Within one day, 4 referrals. And I know, Steve, you've gotten stuff like that like over and over. So the fact that you can do one video when you just step back and say, it doesn't have to be about me. It's about my client and the experience that they have. When you start building that relationship, start building that experience and sharing with people what it could be like when buying a car. Like, it's not the 1990s or 2000, like early 2000s. Like, you don't have to come to the dealership to buy a car. Like, you can actually buy a car online. So the fact that these people are coming to Steve still, the fact that they are really wanting to work with him, and then some of them don't know him, but they're like, my friend told me to come see you. Like, that's powerful, and literally cost Steve nothing. It cost him his time, his ability to just ask a simple question. How was your experience today? Actually, what are the simple questions? Like, do you have 3 questions? I asked 3 when I was selling, but what do you ask your customers in these videos?
Well, when they agree to do the video, I walk them through it and tell them what I'm going to do, and then I tell them, I said, I'm going to ask you, if you want to say a few words. I said, say something about your experience with me. Say something about your experience with the process here at Patterson's, and if you would recommend me to your friends. I mean, it's a really simple, and sometimes people just go crazy. And Noah absolutely caught me off guard when he said, come out here and garner you a good deal, or whatever he said. But it just caught me off guard.
Noah's a salesperson.
And I just busted out laughing anyway. But one of the things I want your viewers and listeners to know, I know Noah through his mom and dad.
Mom and dad, yep.
And his older brother. His older brother and my son Eric went to school together. Well, I've sold his mom and dad. I've sold his uncle. I've sold his brother, and I've sold his sister.
Literally generations.
Yeah. I'm like I said at the beginning of this podcast, I'm into my 32nd year of doing this, and I'm selling the grandchildren of some of my customers now.
That's amazing.
Which ages me, which I'm okay with, because I'm okay with my age now. But it goes back to the relationship thing that you were talking about, Cameron, and it's so important. I don't sell every time someone asks me to help them with a car purchase, but I do get lots and lots of opportunities, and that's all I want, is the chance to help.
Agreed.
And go ahead. Sorry.
No, this moment right here that you're talking about, Steve. When I first started, I think I came to you. I'm pretty sure it was you, Steve, because I used to come to you a lot because I was like, I'm so frustrated. I don't know how to do this, But you were the person I would look at Bobby Nunn, right? And Bobby Nunn, when I was first starting at Hyundai, I don't know if he's still there, but he was amazing. I mean, the dude had so many people. And if you mess with Bobby Nunn's customers, he'll chop you, man. Like, but I was like, how do I get like Bobby? I was like, I don't understand. Like, I'm out. I'm trying to do social media. I'm trying to do this. I was frustrated because I'm trying to do so many things to get out there, but I'm still losing. Like, that's what it was. I hate losing. And then you basically, I'm pretty sure it was you, Steve, told me that, don't look at what's going on in Bobby's life. He's in chapter like 30 of his book. Like, you're just starting, like you're starting to build. And so you can't compare your story and like your success to Bobby's when Bobby's like way up here and you just started. And I was like, man, that's such a good way to look at it. So someone listening right now is probably like, well, Steve's been in 32 years. I want to be there right now. I just started. I want to be exactly where Steve's at. I've been there, guys. And I'll tell you right now, it doesn't happen overnight. Now, can you get to that level of success pretty quick? Yeah, you can. I think I did very well. Being able to just dramatically stay consistent with what you're doing, building a process, making it part of your process like Steve does. And then all of a sudden you'll reap the benefits. But if you're looking to be where Steve's at in 32 years, Steve accomplishes or has accomplished what so many people strive to do, and that we teach here at Builderbrand. I mean, he's accomplished that. Now, it's not going to happen overnight. So if that's what you're looking for, the instant gratification, good luck. You're going to be in the business for a short term, because that's not how it works. That's not today's buying expectations from the customer. They don't want just a transaction. They want the relationship. So Steve, you've done so much, man. You just don't know. I mean, you've helped so many people.
Okay. Okay, my
huh?
head's getting too big. You need to stop.
Oh yeah. And guys, by the way,
Okay.
Steve's my height, so we're both real short. So
Okay, the last thing I want to touch on before we finish up is the pandemic and what a boom it's been. And for those of you that are watching and those that are listening, Wichita Falls is about 115 miles from the Dallas-Fort Worth area. We're about halfway between Dallas-Fort Worth and Amarillo. So we're kind of out here by ourselves. The town is about 100,000. We've got an Air Force base right next to us, and our MSA is about 175,000. So we're a small to moderate size market. And we're kind of isolated from what goes on in the major markets around the country. And one of the things that the markets in those areas have done is move to digital processes, but the small markets like I'm in haven't. And what this pandemic has done is shown our customers here that buying a vehicle digitally is now just as easy as buying a shirt or a pair of shoes digitally. And Cameron, when this thing hit, we shut down for the month of March. We were closed and open by appointment only. And I was just, wondering what's going to happen. So I just enjoyed the taking the time off and coming in a couple of times a day to help somebody. Well, as we got through the month, my production that month was only off 15% from what it was the same month a year ago. And I said,
wow.
This isn't bad. And so for the month of April, we did open, and I just made the decision after I'd had a productive March that I said, you know what, I think I'm just going to continue doing this. And so I started doing videos from my home. I started doing videos. And the first video I did, I was sitting out. We've got a nice little patio area, and I just was sitting out there telling customers that we could do everything over the phone or digitally, that they could reach out to me on Facebook or Messenger or Instagram, whatever they wanted to do. They could message me or text me, and then I could get everything together prior to them coming to the dealership. And one of my customers saw the video, and she just put a hashtag on the comment she made to me. It said, "Working hard in the backyard."
Oh,
And
that's awesome. I like that.
I know.
That's
It's
awesome.
like, I did. So I called her up. I said, "Can I use this?" And she said, "Well, yeah, of course you can." I said, "No, I'm serious. I want to start using this." And so every week I've done that. That was back in April. And so every week I'll do a video, and I'll have something that goes along with, I can come out to your place of business. I can come out to your home. I can pick up your trade. I can get a value on it. We can, get the numbers agreed to. And then at the time that's convenient for you, you can come to the dealership, drive the vehicle. If you like it, fine. If you don't, we'll look for something else. But that was for the month of April. April's production for me was the same as it was April a year ago. And so we get to May, which is always one of my best months. And I had some time off scheduled.
Your birthday's in May, right?
My birthday's in September.
Oh, awkward. That's so weird.
It's okay. It's okay. It's okay.
Man,
But
for some reason I thought it was May.
No, that's all right. But May was another good month. But more importantly for me and for my business, Cameron, what it's allowed me to do is tailor how much time I spend with a customer, and it's reduced that by a substantial amount. So I can now do everything for the most part over the phone or via email, or now I can, people are comfortable now doing it, grabbing messages and I'll send them back and forth in a text, or I'll send them back and forth in an email. I can capture the web page for a particular vehicle and send that to them so they can look at all the pictures that are already on the website anyway. But it's made everything so much simpler, and people are now comfortable doing that, Cameron. They weren't 6 months ago.
Oh, I know.
And they are now. And
Yes,
so,
oh gosh, what you're saying, Steve, is something that when you and I were doing videos 3 years ago when I was there, I got
yeah,
in trouble for doing videos, by the way. I don't know if you ever knew that, but I did. I got in trouble for doing videos, and I was told to go to the phone and continue calling people because it's 2000 still. And now it took a pandemic and society to completely go crazy for them to, for a lot of dealerships, especially in our small town, to realize, oh, wait, you can actually use videos to do this.
yeah,
Yes. Oh
yeah,
my gosh. And the fact that your sales, I mean, obviously you only decreased a little bit in April or March from the previous year. Imagine everyone else that does not do the things that you do, has not done that for years to build that up, to feel comfortable with it, for the customers to kind of, be okay with it. Imagine what their sales were like. I'm sure they were
yeah,
terrible, like not in a bad way or mean way, but they were bad compared to the previous years. And then all of a sudden your sales are the same as it was. So it's like nothing's changed. The pandemic hasn't affected Steve and his clients and their business, because you're building this experience that's digital for your customers to make it fun, fast, friendly, fair, convenient, to
yeah,
make it just perfect for what's happening in society. And the fact that you can basically sell cars online, Steve, and you're a veteran, 32 years. For someone to say it's because I'm older, it's because I'm not technology savvy, because I'll tell you right now, Steve's not really that technology savvy. Steve knows this too. He'd come to me and be like,
mhm,
"Hey, I don't know how to do this." I'm like, "I got you, bud. Come here." But that is no longer an excuse that you can use, because Steve right here has basically showed you it can be done. Steve is outbeating people my age. Like, Steve is crushing it. So do not think and do not beat yourself up and give up on yourself because of your age, your inability to actually be tech savvy, or whatever the case may be. Those are all excuses. And excuses, that's fine, you can use them, but they're never going to help you. So
yeah,
you need to just take advantage of everything you have. And like Steve said earlier, start today. Today's the day. There's no better day to start than today. And you can push it
yeah,
off, but you're only hurting yourself. So, Steve, you've shared some amazing information. I'll let you have the last words on the closing statements, but I just want to thank you so much for joining, because, man, again, you've helped me a lot in my career. You've helped push me. You're very encouraging. Like, everyone needs attaboys, and I always got attaboys from Steve, and I really appreciate it. But
yeah.
so, Steve, I want you to close us out. And, man, thanks again for joining.
Uh, it was a real treat when you reached out, Cameron. I said earlier in this podcast how proud I am of what you're doing, and I'm excited for you and your family. And it was a real joy to sit here and interact with you. And I hope that the information that the two of us have shared is going to help some of your viewers and your listeners. I do want to offer, as I always do, I'm in a position to mentor, and I want to absolutely do that to those people that are looking for some help. Your viewers and listeners can reach out to me. My phone number is 940-781-1920. That's my cell, and I keep it on my hip at all times. Please text me, and I'll get to you when I have a moment. If you want to reach out to me on Facebook or Instagram, I'm there, and I'll be happy to respond that way. Thanks again, Cameron, and I look forward to seeing you when you're back in town. Have a great day.
All right, thanks, man. Again, that's Steve Garner at Patterson Family Dealerships in Wichita Falls. And what was that hashtag, Steve, one last time for the backyard?
It was working hard in the backyard.
Right, and today we are hashtag working hard in the backyard with Steve Gardner, and I am Cameron Moore, your host. Thank you guys so much for watching. We'll catch you next time.
They said I couldn't do it, but I can. Yes, I can. New requests are coming in to be my friend. Friend. Build a brand.